Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you
again and again.
Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Hello, welcome into the GSMC Technology Podcast on a Tuesday today here. My name is Tom Jordy. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, as we're going to go into some tech news and reviews as well, and some just information for you guys, as we're going to also look at, you see, Xbox One versus PS4. Like, is this 2013? What's going on? Well, I mean, it is the 5-year anniversary of the Xbox One and the PS4, and we're going to talk about that a little bit and just how they have changed the console gaming, obviously being the latest generation to come out. And of course, we talked about on the show how some companies have actually decided that, well, Sony and Microsoft have decided that around 2020 is where we're going to see the next edition or the next generation of console, because I'm sure that these companies really, really wanted to try and get to a point where they weren't going to make set-top boxes anymore, pretty much. Like, it's not going to be consoles, it's going to be all VR and augmented reality, and you're going to do everything through a screen and such like that. Like, no, we like playing with our controllers in our hands, we like the dexterity, the Switch is one thing, you still have a controller in your hand, you still have a joystick, you still have buttons. I mean, it's the same way. So that's kind of what they're figuring out. I was like, oh, no, people still like that stuff, and now even when we're getting to mobile, you got to figure out the best mobile games actually are the ones that have the best toggling features and ability to actually have the similar gameplay as you do on your consoles. But that's going to be we're going to do that in the middle segments, talking about the Xbox One and the PS4. In this first segment, we're going to talk about Alphabet, which is obviously which is a list of 26 letters, isn't it? It's also the company that is the parent company now for Google, and they have announced some earnings and also some other things as well. So, I mean, this is telling you that Google is going crazy, but they've also been able to, protect themselves and use Alphabet as a way to, it's all their fault. No, I'm just kidding. Last week, they did have to deal with a bunch of sanctions from the EU because of the violations to that Protection Act that they passed just last month. A situation where Google was kind of, I don't know about forcing it, but the problem is, like Apple has their apps on the phone. You actually can delete them now. Like, I just deleted the music app actually because I use Spotify and I don't even want to have to deal with my music that I've had from prior iPods and stuff that I don't listen to anymore. It pops onto my phone when it pops on in my car when I plug my phone in, and it's kind of annoying, honestly. So I just got rid of it. You can get rid of whatever you want. You can get rid of the calculator if you really feel like it, and stuff like that. But it looks like Google was kind of trying to like push their apps forward on the Android phones, even though that they don't own the phones. That's the thing. Apple produces and owns the phones until obviously you purchase them from them, and you can do what you want. But they are the ones that made the phones. They can put whatever apps they want on the phones. Google just makes the operating software, the Android software. HTC, LG, Samsung, LG, they all make the phone. They make the phones. So the fact that I think the EU is like, you're pushing your own apps on other people's phones is like, no, they are missing the fact that it is Google's tech. It is Google software. You probably can have the ability to get of the tech and of the app itself. I mean, if you, like I said, I got rid of the music app. You can get rid of it if you want. And that $5.1 billion fine is going to maybe scare some people, but it's not scaring the earnings reports. That's all. And that's what it has to be. And the amount of money that they're just raking in right now. So, I mean, Google, the parent's positive numbers is quite good. You go and look at the actual Google stock price, and it's the same it says it's $12.49. I mean, it says it rose above $12.54 a share this morning. Obviously, it's going to be a little dollars and cents here. I mean, single dollars and cents are not quite what they're worried about when you're talking about $1,000 stock. But I mean, if we're talking about bigger things here. I mean, of course, they have. It's kind of a you could look at it as a trending situation where you're not mom and pops are going to go buy a $12,000 stock. This is for a kind of an economy overall look where you have day traders and people on Wall Street who are going to be looking at this as a way to make money and a way to stimulate our economy even more. I mean, JP Morgan Chase did come out and say that they actually see this earnings report and think that the evaluation for the company is overweight and kind of like over maybe could be spilling over soon, as they want to see more additional quarters of stability and of margin stability, especially in the future, before they can kind of get more comfortable with it, as they want to. They're establishing a December 2019 price target of $1,440. I mean, that's next year. So it's basically saying they only wanted to raise about $200 a share by next December. So that's what they can keep it pretty marginal right there. Best Bank of America, when they come out and evaluated the earnings report for this company, they came out and said, and quote, this is actually the quote from Bank of America. Of course, obviously, it's going to be a little bit more. I'll cut it where it gets a little bit more complicated, because this is a lot of financial talk. But going on and saying, Bank of America said a stronger revenue quarter that flowed through to the bottom line may remind investors that Google is a solid growth and execution company. Visibility on Google Cloud and Waymo progress and the traction for new ad features and formats in the fall could be the next catalyst. So basically, they think that this is telling you that Google obviously is going to be growing, and it's going to continue to grow, and they aren't going to get stagnant, and they aren't going to just, we've made some cool stuff, let's just do that. No, they're going to keep growing. They're going to keep doing things. They're going to have this. They have the Google Cloud. They've been able to show a little bit more transparency to their shareholders and to investors. They've been able to show Waymo a little bit better and a little more transparency with that and how they're progressing with those two services from Google. So, and obviously they're going to try and reintegrate, or not reintegrate, but definitely new ad features, like you said, and formats for cash, basically more money making, basically make more money, bring it home, baby, bring home the bacon. And that's kind of what they what you're looking for here for especially these big cats and these big banks on Wall Street, is that's all they like. They like making money, and they like reinvesting it. And obviously, that's in our best interest. Obviously, it's in our best interest as a country. I know we like, these big corporations are ruining us. Well, but Google isn't. I wouldn't say Google is one of them, because Google obviously is helping us at home. They're creating products for us to use. It's not like it's like some invisible big company that we don't like. What is Berkshire Hathaway? Berkshire Hathaway is an investment firm. I mean, it's not really doing anything negative. But like the Koch brothers, the Koch brothers have their fingers in everything. What are they doing? It's hard to kind of put your finger and decide and actually get a list of actually every single thing that they're involved in and the influence that they have in politics and everything. A lot of different things in our country versus Google. They have influence too, but it's a little more, okay, we get what their MO is. We get what their game plan is. They're here to give services. I mean, there's a reason why, like I've talked about on the show before, that there's a trade-off. You have a trade-off with Google. You have a trade-off with their services and then their data collection and their advertising. So, I mean, like I said, it can be really creepy. You go on eastbay.com to go buy some cleats for your son to go play baseball or something like that, and all of a sudden you go on a different website and it says Eastbay cleats on sale, blah blah blah. It's like, what? How does it know that? Well, it has your information. You're on the same computer. It's not that creepy. It's called cookies. It just grabs it, and Google takes that information and creates an ad for you. It's not that hard to fathom, honestly. In somebody's head. And I understand, though, it can be kind of weird getting a situation where what is the deal here? What's going on? I mean, this is interesting, but Google, they could be considered overweight. I know Bank of America says buy. They're going to be going up. We've shown solid growth, and they've been able to show that they have things in the works that are going to lead to more growth. There's another, Morgan Stanley said they're overweight, and they actually had a little bit less technical speech. So I'm actually going to read their quote too and their evaluation of Google, because it actually does give you a pretty good insight on what investors and where they think everything's going with the money. At least if you want to know more about the money, I know we love the tech and we love the services and we love the products they create, but where's all this money going and how does it help us other ways? So Morgan Stanley comes out and says Alphabet's $85 billion annualized website business accelerated on an XFX basis to 24% year-over-year growth, which is, I mean, they're saying it's just kind of like, I mean, it's not like they're saying the same thing that basically JP Morgan Chase said, that they want more marginal, or the margin to stabilize a little bit better. Obviously the growth is great, but driven by 44% year-over-year mobile search growth, 32% YouTube growth, and 12% desktop search growth. So obviously that's kind of all their services and how they're going to make money. So they actually do they do throw the YouTube percentage in there. So 32% growth for YouTube is pretty darn good. Especially, I mean, yeah, they're paying. The thing is, the fact that they've been able to make as much money as they can, and then also create more millionaires. I mean, YouTube has created millionaires and created, I mean, small millionaires, but also some younger, well-off people who are going to hopefully use that. And I mean, you watch enough YouTube. I mean, I watch enough YouTube. You see the guys out there, the people out there. I mean, there's the good ones and the bad ones. There's people like, oh gosh, there's some people out there who are just kind of crazy, and then there's people who are actually making like Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning. They have made money off YouTube. They've put it back into their show, reinvested it, made their show even better, and now they have I think they come out their daily shows basically on YouTube, and I think they might even have one on YouTube TV. I don't know about YouTube TV. That's for like live television, but they it's a good show. They get millions of viewers every day, and they make money for YouTube and they make money for themselves enough because there's such thing called ads at the beginning of their show. They also have sponsors on their show. They know they're going to get enough eyeballs to where they can even just use a product on their show. They could use Clorox wipes or bleach or whatever, Windex for something, and they could get money for that. So I mean, there's so many different ways to make money, and it's creating a platform for people. I mean, YouTube's been a platform for people for a long time, but I remember when my friends are, you got to look at my YouTube channel. We made some videos. Okay. Now it's getting into more of like a professionalized. We're going to go on here to watch my show. Got to watch my show. Got to go watch the episode of Good Mythical Morning. Got to go watch the episode of I'm trying to think of another top show on there right now, where somebody comes, you deserve a drink with Mamie Hart, which is great, which is a great show. I'm trying to think of other. I mean, honestly, the YouTubers have kind of evolved. Like you had Troye Sivan was a YouTuber. He's now a multi-platinum recording artist. We're touring all over the world. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Tyler Oakley, he is good at show on there. Is always the same. I mean, not always the same, but I mean, make some money off of that. It just gets people more visible, and you can see why how it's monetized quite well. They continue to say, so this speaks to Alphabet's innovation, user advertiser focus, which is great because advertising has a lot of money. These companies have so much money for advertising. You see how much money McDonald's spends on advertising. Chipotle is starting to advertise more. Starbucks starting to advertise more. It's all going to go in those ads at the beginning of the shows. I know you can skip them, but sometimes you can't, and they make you watch it, and it's worth it. So they're able to build, this is continuing the quote from Morgan Stanley saying, user and advertiser focus and ability to build and monetize around its 1 billion user platforms. So, they have a lot of platforms that have billions of users. So, I mean, YouTube obviously being one of them. Second, we were still early in the monetization for these user bases, as Alphabet is investing in new monetization opportunities such as YouTube subscriptions that we think could drive 13 times higher using monetization, new ads products in maps, and what we think could conservatively reach $2 billion to $3 billion of analyzed revenue and hardware assistance driving cost. I don't know why they're saying this is overweight. If Morgan Stanley kind of contradicting themselves here, they're saying they're investing in new monetization opportunities such as YouTube subscriptions. Yes, YouTube TV. What's wrong with that? They're also spending money on advertising. They're the main sponsor. YouTube TV is the main sponsor for the shirts for the new LA soccer team. I'm pretty sure as well. So, I mean, then they sponsored the YouTube TV, sponsored the NBA Finals. They were the first title sponsor the NBA Finals has ever had. So, I mean, they're putting some money out there, and they're using it to try and hubbub this right up. I mean, I don't know how much the deals were for the LAFC or the NBA, but I mean, the fact that they're saying they could conservatively reach $2 billion to $3 billion of annualized revenue just from that. I mean, they're adding new ad products in the Google Maps scenario, and that's just money rolling in. I don't know why it's saying overweight, but maybe they just need to spread out. They want them to see them spread out and be more. I'm trying to think of the word here. It's really an easy word. Diversified. There you go. Goldman Sachs says buy. Deutsche Bank says buy. USB says buy. Jefferies says buy. KeyBank says buy. Stifel says buy. Well, so all these other analysts are saying buy. So let's come back and maybe we'll talk about a couple of those on the other side, or I'll get tired of talking about finances and Google. But it's just interesting seeing which way our tech companies are going. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, GSMC Technology Podcast. We are back for this segment as we're going to go back to the Xbox PS4 stuff, as it is the 5-year mark that those two consoles have been on the market. I had PS3, and then I went to Xbox One because I wanted to play. I don't know. Actually, I just like the interface better. Honestly, I just like the interface. I like the tiles and kind of getting it seamless like that versus, I don't know. I had the PS3, and I wasn't the biggest fan of like the kind of the interface and how it worked. So the obviously been a big deal, as 2013 was the year where the two consoles were on the verge of launch, and now they have become the number one consoles in the world. As far as it goes, we can break it down. We're going to go price, we're going to go everything, performance and everything, games, when it comes to it. So right now, base level for each, the kind of price is around the same. It's really hard. This is kind of splitting hairs. We found that really it's kind of how it is. Base level is $250 to $300 in North America, obviously ranging for the bundles and stuff like that. PS4 Pro did come out at $400 versus the Xbox One X at $500. So there were the more powerful, expensive versions. That's where you kind of get some disparity between the two consoles there. And then obviously, the ranges when it comes to the bundles and stuff like that. I think PS4 doesn't offer quite as many bundles, but they did when Destiny came out. It was all they did. I know that's true, but as far as it goes with Xbox One, they've kind of mixed it up with the different games they've had bundled. When I got my Xbox One, it was a Madden 17, I think, as when I got bundled. It was already preloaded on the console, which is pretty cool. I still play it now these days, so not a bad deal there. I think it was actually Madden 16. That's how long ago I got that. But as far as it goes with the actual gameplay and everything, the Xbox One X has the 4K HDR visuals and everything. PS4 has similar visual stuff, but you get a little bit more with the super high-end stuff, especially if you have the TV for it. If you have a super high-end 4K HDR TV, you probably want the Xbox One. When it comes to games, obviously, this is where the divide happens. This is the only real divide. PS4 just has more games that you can only play on PS4. Sony develops their own games. A lot of the times, you have Xbox kind of using both, but from Uncharted series to The Last of Us and Bloodborne, Destiny. I think even Destiny, you've had Sony has a far richer lineup of exclusive games coming up, and especially same thing with Spider-Man and Death Stranding. like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Madden, and FIFA. But the thing is, those are all games that you're going to get on both, obviously, coming from the last two coming from EA Sports. So you're going to find that, I mean, obviously there is games that Halo has been the prototypical one that you point at when you think, oh, that's the Xbox game. But we're going to get ones in Forza as well and Sea of Thieves. But we're going to get to a point now where it's going to be difficult to separate these two consoles. It's going to be difficult to kind of get to a point where I know this is one's better than the other situation. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be one where it's going to be preference, basically. It's preference. Which games do you like? Which controller do you like? And such. So definitely something that you can take into account there. When it comes to games, though, Sony definitely has the higher octane lineup when it comes to popularity, gameplay, and everything. And also, just they like to be exclusive, I guess, is what the deal is for Sony. As far as services, if I know the experts have their thing. Hopefully they agree with me before I even go into what the experts have to say. My opinion, I've had both. Xbox Live, there's nothing like Xbox. So Microsoft created a service. It's seamless. It's easy to renew. It works most of the time. I mean, actually, yesterday was weird. Yesterday it told me that my subscription was up, which is like, I'm like, no. So I just reset the console. It was like, you're good. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm good. But some people get really frustrated with that. I'm more patient, but it's not a big deal. But the services, when it comes to getting games on deals, stuff like that, the whole store and everything, Xbox, the Microsoft or the game store for Microsoft or on Xbox One is crazy. And also, I don't even know. I don't know if you can do this on PS4. I have to check. But EA Access, have you ever heard of EA Access? That's a service you could pay. I pay $25 a year. It might be $30 a year. And you can play pretty much any game in the vault that you want. And they're all obviously a little bit older. So, like FIFA 17, nope, don't pay for that. Just pay $30 a month, play as much as they want. NHL 17, Madden 17, basically all the year-old games. So when FIFA 19 comes out this year, I can play FIFA 18, and it's not a big deal. The game, they don't change that much in the games. If you're not really that worried about the new game and playing it, if you just play, like I just play it for cognitive workouts and stuff like that. I don't really play online and such. I just kind of get some dexterity going a little bit, not just sitting there mindlessly in front of a TV. But no, it definitely is better, and I think they definitely have more. I think they have more deals. I see deals all the time on Xbox One when it comes to buying games, because everything now you can just download it through the internet. You don't have to buy a disc or anything anymore. But when it comes to the actual services they offer, when it comes, they are very similar in the services they offer, but the quality of the service I think is a little bit better on Xbox Live. Obviously, PlayStation Network is the Sony version. Microsoft Xbox Live but costs about the same amount, $60 a year to do it. Obviously, Xbox Live has kind of been the standard. They've both been the industry standards. Obviously, I think Xbox Live has definitely had the more of the. It got better quicker, basically. Halo was great even 10 years ago on the original Xbox. Xbox Live was the place to be. It was the place to go play Call of Duty and Halo and whatever you wanted to be. I didn't really catch on to the fact that, I just think PlayStation took their time, or Sony took their time, whether they wanted to get a better server base or get a better game to, launch their online services for. Xbox Live has always been it's the place to go. That's where you play COD. You're gonna go play COD. You're gonna play it on Xbox. You're gonna go play. Want to go play some Nazi zombies? We're playing on Xbox. I think the first game that I really saw played online a lot was by my brother when I had the PS3, and he played Battlefield, and that was about it. So Call of Duty I know is one of the more popular online games, but now we're getting it to a point where we've even had problems with Fortnite, and the fact that now PS4, if you made a Fortnite account on Sony, you can't. That's it. You're locked into the PS4. Basically, you have to play. You can't take it across to the Switch or to your Xbox One. So, say you play with your buddy at his house, you can't sign into your Fortnite account on his Xbox if you played on your PS4. So, which is kind of annoying as much as that is. So, but when it comes to the these are the industry standards: PlayStation Network, Xbox Live. They're very similar. So they're kind of like, they both have departments now where you can go and, like Netflix, and go pick a game to play as you go, or you have I think they have like a selection of games. If you pay for Xbox Live, you can go play a free game as you go. Most games, I mean, now it's kind of getting to the point where games are going to be free and they're going to be all pay in game. I mean, Fortnite has broke $1 billion of revenue. $1 billion for a free game. Free to download. But people want to look like Tom Cruise in their game, so they spend all this money on the kits or whatever, Fortnite dollars, whatever it is, to pay for the costumes and different things you want. So that's an example. On PlayStation Now, there are more than 650 playable PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 games that you can play on a PC or PlayStation 4 with PlayStation Now. That's one of the, and then obviously you have Xbox Game Pass as well. That's the Netflix-like services where you pay separately and you can get kind of like, on-demand gaming kind of thing, right? It's seamlessly. Game Pass, it looks like you said download over more than 100 original Xbox 360, and Xbox One games. It is $10 a month. Versus the PlayStation Now is $20 a month or $100 a year, which would obviously factor down to $12 a month. No, less than that, more than that. What's 12 divided by 100? I can't do math. Don't make me do math. Okay, on the show, on the spot. It's $20. 20 times 12 is more than 100. Okay, so it's less than $20 a year if you pay for $20 a month if you pay for the whole year, obviously. But then $10 a month is $120 a year. So you're close. It's less than, so yeah, you pay for $100 a year. It's less than $10 a month. There you go. You're gonna pay. I mean, that's not a bad deal if you're gonna play games on demand like that, like I do. I mean, same kind of thing as EA Access, except just much more broad to the game itself. But for Xbox, it's $10 a month. Better yet, any game that Microsoft publishes will show up on the Game Pass at launch. So right when Halo Infinite comes out next year, or when Forza comes out, any game it comes out with that's exclusive to Xbox, as soon as it launches, it'll be available on your Game Pass, and you could just play it if you have Game Pass. So that's pretty good, and we'll definitely make a nice argument for those who own to try. Who are those who are trying to compare and contrast? If you're in the market right now to buy one, that's probably your main argument. You should buy an Xbox One because you can get Game Pass and have Halo like that for $10 a month. I know that's I'm paying $120 for this Halo. No, you're paying $60 for Halo and you're paying $60 for Forza. That's $120 a month. There you go. Then you can play every other game for free, basically. Then you paid for it with those two games, and you can play everything else for free. There you go. So it's pretty huge, as well as this is a massive library. New games, major games, not just the peripheral games that you kind of, where'd that come from kind of thing. All right. So now next one is a huge thing, especially for me and my roommates, especially going through college and stuff like this. Backwards compatibility, huge deal, because we obviously still have a lot of our own games. There's some great games from early in the 2000s and early 2010s days when it was Xbox 360. Battlefront. The original Battlefront 2 on the original Xbox is tough to play on an Xbox One because I don't think it has backwards compatibility. I think the only games you can play is Xbox 360 games on Xbox One. There is an ever-growing list as well, as so PlayStation 4 doesn't really have the backwards compatibility at all. My brother had to go buy a PS2 from eBay or something, which are actually pretty hard to find, mind you, to play the original. Actually, I think he did play Battlefield, the original Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefield, or Battlefront. No, I keep saying Battlefield. Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think it's what he played on the PS2. So he can't go buy a PS4. And I think he ended up going and buying an Xbox One S. That's what he ended up buying. So there you go. And you have the backwards compatibility to be able to play Battlefield 2 from the Xbox 360. I keep saying Battlefront 2 from the Xbox 360 on your Xbox One. As the list, like I said, grows ever growing larger and larger for those games. There, like Red Dead Redemption 2. or just one, I think, or three. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was just Red Dead Redemption. Was a 360 game. My buddy really, really wanted to play it when we were in college. He found it at GameStop for cheap, and he's like, "Can I do this backwards compatible?" And they're like, "Yep, you can do that." And he put it in his PS4. His Xbox One, and I played it, no problems, backwards compatible to Xbox One with the even with the 360 game too. So gotta like that. There's a couple more things I want to cover on this stuff, so we'll come back on the second half or on the back end of the break on this other side of the break. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll be right back with I think what's going to be the final segment of the day today. Is we're going to go 3 segments today. I'll bring you some news from Alexa as well at the end of that segment. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Technology Podcast. This is going to be the final segment of the day today here, as we are going to finish up the talk on the Xbox One versus PS4 stuff, kind of a little look back on what we've had the last 5 years, and probably we're going to get for the next 2 years now that especially both have kind of doubled down on this edition of the this generation of the console with the Xbox One S and the Microsoft kind of tripled down or splitting off a little bit, which was very smart I think, because they're going to sell the X's and they're going to sell the S's because they have markets for both of them. And then obviously the PS4 Pro coming from the Sony side of it. I don't know why I just paused there. I couldn't think of this word Sony out of my mouth. All right. Controllers is the next thing that we're going to look at as we, of course, that was a huge part for me. I wasn't the biggest fan of the PS3 controller. It felt really light. It felt kind of cheap, kind of plastic. It wasn't very solid. The button placement is okay. I just like having the Xbox where it's the offset toggles where you actually have the buttons are raised up with that first toggle, so you can kind of button toggle at the same time versus having to go down for the two toggles at the bottom of the controller, and then obviously you have the D-pad and the buttons on the top. So I like the Xbox controller. I've always liked the Xbox controller. I like how you flip the D-pad down at the bottom. I've gotten used to using it. Obviously, I was used to using the PS3. I mean, honestly, the only reason I got PS3, to be honest, MLB The Show. They don't make MLB The Show for Xbox One, or Xbox at all. So I had to buy a PS3 to play the only good baseball game, really. Because don't tell me the RBI baseball is good. Don't tell me they don't even make 2K anymore for baseball either. So, MLB The Show was a very good game. I wanted to play a baseball game, so I got a PS3. But then I was kind of over it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to trade this off. I'll play FIFA. I'm getting an Xbox One, and then I just like the controller more. Just like the controller a lot more. You can personalize the Xbox One's controllers very nicely. They have different ones as well as the different games come out with different controllers as well. I remember when my buddy got the bundle with, or he bought the controller game bundle for. Was it for Fallout? I think for Fallout or something like that. Or then he got my other friend got a bundle that for it was like a green controller. It was kind of weird. I don't know, whatever game it was he got a controller that came with it. It was red, something like that. Whatever game it came with his when he bought the Xbox. But I like that they have the controllers that go with the games. They have a lot of those for Xbox, and they have different ones you can go find. You can kind of collect them. You can go to GameStop and find them out where they are, and it's pretty cool. But as far as the game pads go, they're pretty similar. Just you obviously flip the two toggles. You have the one on the left isn't higher than the one on the right for the Xbox, and then the PS4, it's the same. You just flip the D-pad back on top. As far as I just like the thumbsticks being offset. I've been a fan of that, and just kind of that's why I was I think we're drawn more to the Xbox One, because a lot of this stuff is a toss up, but the only thing you're really going to have in your hand the whole time while playing the game is the controller. And the Xbox also has these new controllers where they have more grip on the inside of the controller, so if your hands get sweaty, which mine do while playing a lot of games. So I know I've always been a fan of the Xbox One or Xbox controller in general, especially. All right, so and then also Xbox also I think it was one of the has controllers that you can toggle. You could take pieces off. You can make it into a gaming controller where you can configure the pieces however you want. It was kind of an issue. I think it was my buddy had one and it was kind of having trouble with the triggers on top of them, and you can kind of reconfigure. You can reconfigure them however you like, and you can get bigger buttons and stuff like that too. So hopefully they'll have a little bit newer one of the the self configuration, customizable controller. All right, any other stuff? Obviously, that when we say other stuff, we think VR, or I think VR. Google, they have VR. Xbox and Microsoft, while they do, I bet you are trying to develop. Microsoft probably trying to develop their own VR device in itself, not connected with the Xbox. Sony's going a different route. They're actually going to come out with the with the Sony PlayStation VR headset. That's something that Xbox One does not. It's going to be in the ballpark around $200 and $300 for PSVR, as obviously Sony and their fact that they can develop all these games efficiently and make them pretty good. You think they were going to start integrating some VR capabilities into those games, especially obviously the ones that they're creating themselves. So the Sony games specifically. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It was just interesting how Xbox Connect, PlayStation View just went up and down. Just like, nope. I know Connect obviously was a better one because it did not require having a controller. You could still get the Connect actually, and it works pretty well with the cameras and stuff like that. But with the Wii and the PlayStation View, where you have to have the little wand thing in your hand, it almost was like a fad. Honestly, it was here, it was great, it was gone. And then Kinect came. It was like, oh, we actually can play this without having to hold a controller in our hand. Then, oh, we're actually too lazy to actually move around and play some games. The only game that was actually kind of fun was like Dance Dance Revolution or something like that. That was pretty fun, or Just Dance 2 or whatever it's called. For the Xbox One Connect or Xbox Connect was pretty interesting. But other than that, you're playing your games with your controller. I know that this is a control headset that's going to. The PSVR headset's going to require high end. This is from this is actually a review of the VSVR from the Business Insider. They quote in saying, the headset offers a relatively high end virtual reality experience, but other than a smartphone based headset like Google's Daydream or Samsung's Gear VR, but not quite like as powerful as a PC based headset like Facebook's Oculus Rift or HTC's Vive. Obviously, you think. And then we're going to see the Oculus Rift. Remember, Oculus Rift Go or Oculus Go, as we're going to see the first very high quality VR headset that does not require a PC base. So we are going to see the ability. We're already seeing exclusives regarding the PSVR and what games we're going to see. So Resident Evil 7. Is an interesting game that's going to be in VR, and it's definitely going to be a horrifying experience for sure. That's what they, of course, Business Center, a horrifying experience that you'll want to do it. Strongly suggest. I don't know about that for me, but this is kind of weird. But for the Xbox One and PS4, they both have peripheral camera and microphone peripheral. Xbox Connect, obviously, PS4 camera. Neither of which obviously really sold all that well. and is not used all that much at all. As I mean, it's kind of fascinating how there's so many fads out there and so many things that go and come and go, and it's telling you it's kind of like just Darwinism, technological Darwinism. It's like we like functional things that are easy to use. And sometimes the Xbox One, Xbox Connect wasn't easy to use. Sometimes the View didn't work, or we like things that work a lot. We like things that work 95% of the time. We'll deal with that 5% because not everything works 100% of the time. We like things that work 95% of the time and that are easy and functional. And that's the control. That's the controller. That's the console. That's everything. I mean, you could say the consoles work 99% of the time. Obviously, we've had Red Ring of Death issues with Xbox. We don't want to go there. Microsoft's like, no, don't go there. So it's interesting though how we have things that are kind of like concept items that we want to try and figure out and see if they catch on in the real world, in the masses, and it didn't really work out. Obviously, Nintendo figured it out where like, hey, we're going to create something where they can play it handheld and play it on their TV and have it be one device, and they're going to switch back and forth from it. Oh yeah, we're going to call it the Switch. Smartest guys ever, Nintendo. You got to give them a lot of credit for coming up with that, because that's not going to be a fad. The fact that Fortnite's available on it now, that's not going to be a fad. That's not going away anytime soon. I mean, I had a Nintendo Wii. That was probably one of the more functional versions. It was the first version, honestly, of the whole, like, holding the handheld wireless controller like that and having you point at the screen things. It didn't work. It worked like 95% of the time, which is good. It was functional. It was fun to play. You could play it sitting down. You could play tennis sitting down. You play golf. I actually liked playing golf. But yeah, so it's actually a pretty fun game. But the Xbox Connect, PlayStation View, or PlayStation Camera, that it didn't really catch on because it's too. We don't have anything in our hands. We like things in our hands. We like to be sedentary. But we've been doing stuff all day long. I just want to sit here and play a game. I don't want to have to jump around and have to figure it out that way. Which is what it is. I think that's pretty much it. Was there crossplay? As obviously we've talked about crossplay with Minecraft and with when it comes to I'm trying to think, Fortnite. Obviously PS4, none of that. But Microsoft is great, as they love to. They're very nice when it comes to crossplay and getting your Minecraft accounts over to Nintendo and such like that. Because I mean, Microsoft does own Minecraft, and it does allow it to be cross-played on many different devices. But Sony refuses. Says no Fortnite. You have to play Fortnite on your PS4 and your PS4 only. No Xbox One, no Nintendo Switch for Fortnite. Sorry. As it is definitely, it looks like it's not budging. All right. Who's the winner, though? It's obviously very complicated. I think Xbox One's the winner because you can, if you want to really just line it up, check the boxes off. They've won in the part. I mean, the only thing I think Sony wins in is the games. They have a better selection of games that are exclusive to PS4. That's the only thing I think they win in. That's it. And it's a close margin on everything else, but I think Xbox edges them out in pretty much everything else, giving them the win. But obviously, everything's very close, except for that, where Sony clearly wins that one section, that one category. But then I think Xbox does edge them out in everything when it comes to the Game Pass and to the fact that you have two different consoles now, where it's the S and the X. I like the interface, controller, everything, crossplay, backwards compatibility. It's all going in the same way. Xbox One is my console, and it's the console I'm going to probably have for the future as well, as they're going to come out with the next editions of them in the next couple of years. All right, final thing of the day. I do want to go over something from it kind of hits home for me at the end of this segment here. Amazon Alexa is going to be becoming more and more capable for those with hearing impaired and sight impaired, especially those hearing impaired, as obviously Alexa would be hard for you to use if you cannot hear anything. But now you have Amazon, the Echo Show, which did come out last year, didn't sell all that well, but now the integration of Alexa might make it sell better. But what we're kind of missing is that it's going to help a lot with those who are impaired, have sensual impaired, or have one of their senses impaired, whether it's eyesight or hearing. Hits home for me because my grandmother is legally blind, and she has really bad scarring on her retinas. She can't legally drive. She can see kind of shapes and like outlines of people. It's very blurry for her, but she is legally blind, and this is something that could be a big help for her, whereas Alexa has already kind of helped her in general. She has an Amazon Echo, and getting one of those shows might be a little bit better as well. So I do want to go into that as, of course, Amazon is looking to, there's always a way to make more money. Of course, you can say, "Oh, sell it to them." No, we're also doing this for a goodwill kind of thing, where we want to help everybody. We want to make sure that every single person can use our services in the most easiest capacity possible. All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today, as we'll come back on Thursday and do another edition of the GSMC Technology Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it today, as I did, talking to you guys about Xbox One, especially, and the PS4 and such. So everybody, we'll be back on Thursday talking about Fortnite, as they are having some birthday challenges as well. So with the new update I think season 5 is starting, if not hasn't started already. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. So everybody stay tuned and listen to the show. The past shows if you want, but you don't have to stay tuned to this one anymore, because we're going to talk to you later. So bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.